immediate reaction to that judgment with Save the Children CEO Gugu Xaba. Gugu, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon. Certainly a bittersweet moment. What's your reaction to this judgment?
Good afternoon, Katlego. Good afternoon, South Africa. Save the Children South Africa feels there has been 50% victory and 50% we still have a lot of work to do. We have learned a lesson that justice can prevail, and we have seen that today, and we appreciate that. We also note that the lessons that should be learned is to the children, to the parents, and the community at large. Because as you listen to the voices that we've been listening to, you can tell that this is a community problem, which means we are not going to tolerate violence that is meted on children. Children should not be hijacked in our own communities. Children should not be trafficked or kidnapped in our communities. So this is sending a message that communities, all of them, where there is a child, they have a responsibility. And Save the Children is happy to hear that and willing to support communities to protect children.
Well, most cases of this nature take quite some time. What's your take on how speedily this particular case was dealt with?
The case could have done better in terms of time, half the time. But we also note as Save the Children that the justice system has a responsibility to ensure the facts of that case so that we don't have a lot of people taken to jail with the case that has not been thoroughly investigated. But we would like to see a children's court that is focusing on cases of children so that we can fast track the results and be able to resolve, because we still have a lot more cases that are hanging. So having a children's court that is focusing on them can help us cut down on the time spent on investigations and giving out sentences.
You mentioned earlier that this particular case presents a lesson that communities really need to be involved and come together, especially in the protection of children. And considering the recent incidents of violence against children, how can different stakeholders come together and actually play an active role in protecting our children?
It starts with communities like Saldanha. What community-based organizations exist in that community? And do they understand the rights of children so that they are protecting them on a day-to-day basis? Are they working as a collaboration? Because when they come together, they have an ability to look at the geographical area and cover it sufficiently and make sure that citizens in this country understand the value of children. Because just the ability to use a child as a commodity says some community members still don't understand the value of children, the value of protecting them. And the fact that we've got so much drug abuse already that is taking place, it means with poverty, people will start finding unusual commodities. Like in this case, we've seen that a child now becomes a commodity to feed drug abuse. So it means community-based organizations must come together. They must work as a collaborative to educate everybody about the rights of a child, how we take care of children, how we protect them, and let us report any form of lack of safeguarding a child, which means that morning when Joshlin didn't come to school, somebody should have been at their doorstep knocking to say, why is this child not in school and where is this child right now? So everybody in the community must protect children. But community-based organizations have an ability to facilitate the process.
Is there a prevalence? Is there a growing trend of guardians using their children as commodities, especially in cases where we're seeing human trafficking and those children actually being sold by parents?
Yes, there is a growing case. I think you are aware of the case in the Vaal, which was reported late last year, of a mother who's also done the same thing, and she hasn't even indicated where those children are. So the cases are growing. Some of the cases are not even reported because, you know, some people do not report such cases, and those that do report, the cases are still being investigated. So we do see the growth of children that are being trafficked, children that are being abducted and kidnapped, and it's about time that communities stand up and change that.
We saw also in this particular case, for the first time, a court being brought closer to the people, where a multi-purpose hall was then turned into a court to allow the community to attend. Should the courts be doing this more often?
Yes, they should be doing more of that. As I mentioned earlier, we need courts that just focus on children's cases. And so if there's no space in a district or a municipality, then we do have room in our communities where we've got community halls. We must just make sure that the security is strengthened and we can use them. So the lack of space should not be an excuse of not hearing the cases. Thank you.
All right, Gugu Xaba, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, giving us reaction to that Joshlin Smith trial case, where we have seen Judge Nathan Erasmus handing down a judgment of guilty of kidnapping as well as human trafficking to all three suspects.